We begin today with an issue we have tried to cover consistently here on Prime Time over the last few months, and that is the challenge and the danger posed by the escalating high-profile attacks so close to Nigeria's 2023 general election. One such incident took place last month at the home in Imo State of Ikenga Ugochinyere, spokesperson of the Coalition of United Political Parties, or CUPP, and a PDP candidate in the 2023 election for a seat in the House of Representatives, an attack that left 3 people dead, including his uncle, and the burnt and twisted wreckage of cars and buildings in its wake. That incident, among others, marked what has become apparent, which is a brutal and underreported war that's been raging for some time between opposing sides in Imo State, with political thuggery being deployed as a deadly new tactic as the elections draw near.
On January 14th, we came under heavy terrorist attack, led and coordinated by militias who, from all evidence, were state-sponsored and state-backed, with the sole aim of killing me to permanently silence me from making any other exposure on the rigging plans against the 2023 general election. We were shot at. We were bombed with high-grade explosives. Houses were leveled with bombs. Those still standing were shaken to their foundations, and vehicles numbering over 32 were all set ablaze with this explosive. Several motorcycles belonging to us and hardworking villagers were burnt, among other property valued in billions that was lost in the attack. They attacked in broad daylight, firing from all angles and leaving over 500 bullet holes on the houses in my country home. Innocent people were killed for no reason. Nigerians, however, saw a governor who rushed to the media to try to impede investigation, if any, by dishing out untenable and indefensible narrative to water down the massacre of our people. When Uzodinma spoke, he made reference to documents in his possession. The question would then be, did the governor have a brief of what happened to me even before it happened? What can Uzodinma tell the world that he did with the so-called security report of my so-called meetings with people who wanted to stop election in Southeast? Or did he not do anything because he knew the so-called people would come and attack me? So when exactly did the governor receive his security report, as there's yet no investigation on the terrorist attack on my house?
Well, obviously, we will give the governor and his people the right of reply if they want to reply to anything in this program this evening. Mr. Ikenga Ugochinyere has only just come out of mourning for those who were killed in that attack and is speaking tonight exclusively to Arise Prime Time, and he joins me now in the studio. Thank you very much indeed for coming in, and let me pass my heartfelt condolences to you for what happened. Traumatic experience, no question about that. And I had spoken to you at around the time of the incident, and I spoke to you again today. So please accept our condolences. And I have to say that the attack on you stunned many Nigerians. Remind us of what happened on that fateful day.
Thank you so much for having me, Charles, and thank Arise for also being such light even as the attack was going on. I appreciate so much. It's something that I don't even know how to explain, but I said yesterday when the family said I cannot come out, that I will find a way to tell my own side of the story. But I cannot say without first thanking God Almighty for keeping me alive today. It was very horrible, it was very painful, it was very devastating. And that was around 2 p.m. So I was in the office attending to our party members and campaign people. A text came in, but I didn't look at it because I was in a meeting. So later on, I opened my phone and somebody sent me a text message that gunmen were asking for the direction to my home. So I started seeing series of calls from our people, from all the way from Obioya down to Akwakwa, that they saw these people approaching. So I have to now run outside to tell the security men that it looks like there's going to be an attack here. That was around 2 about p.m. that they should get ready. So as I was still talking, because I was grading the road, I was trying to tar the road, so there's dust. So vehicle was approaching in high speed, convoy of vehicle. So I told the security man that was by my side, stop the vehicle. So he raised his hand and said, stop, and then fired warning shot. Before I could even understand what is going on, they have jumped down from the car from that distance and opened fire directly at my direction. And then he hit the gates. It was like fly, boom. So we pulled back inside one of the compound. From that particular point, they started throwing the bomb. Everything that was on the way was bomb. Rode straight into the main central compound, into one of the Obidia. They kept on throwing the explosive until that one caved in. Then they started throwing it into under the vehicle. Some of the cars that were open, they were throwing it inside. So the explosive was what caused, the the damage, the big damage you are seeing. And then they kept on firing at anything that they can see. There was one innocent man, Chief Iyejirika, who came from Lagos, one of our supporters and a very good friend of the family, to come and see me. He was just arriving. So they said the people that was around, who was hiding in one of the rooms there, had them saying, look at the father, gun him down, because he was wearing a red cap. So they thought he was my father. They chased him inside one of the OB and shot him dead at that particular point. Already they have dragged my lovely uncle Dan, who they were forcing to show them, the people that saw them at the marketplace where they picked him, the direction to my place, because they had the vehicle that has my stuff on it. So when they brought him, they shot him near the gate. They put the gun near the neck and then shattered it. And then there's another guy they killed at the before the entrance, one of our supporters. But what is paining us most is that you can remember, you must have got my SOS message, which I sent to the whole media,
yes,
security agencies. Everybody in Nigeria got that message. So throughout when this thing started happening, we had expected that the army people that is not up to 30 minutes away and the police command would have sent help. People were calling them. People called them from different parts of this country. There is a particular DIG, I will not mention his name. He believes that the right thing should be done. He called even some of them. There's a lot of them that kept on calling them supporters, party members, but no help was coming. It was like, don't come until Ikenga is killed. So they kept on operating. Maybe they didn't expect that they were going to mix me, and then possibly it was supposed to be a surprise attack. And maybe they didn't know we had some also policemen that was also around who were firing warning shot. And my place is like a close. So they were so worried about exit. So the destruction was massive. Everything in that compound was brought down. The whole windows, everything. My father nearly got killed because he was on the floor. I didn't know how they missed him, and they were firing in between the wall where he was. So it was so painful. And help did not come. By the time the area command came, they have already left. At least I appreciate the area commander and the DPO for even coming. But all the way from the state down to Olu, where they have even their unofficial security arrangement and whatever they say they have put in place, they refuse to come. And also people that helped me to reach some of the top brass in the security, they were told to stand down. And up till now, I don't even know who told them to stand down. They didn't come, no hope. Until the next day, the Deputy Commissioner of Police from, and I appreciate him, who came to assess what happened. He promised an investigation. We gave him some of the bullets that we were able to pick and some of the explosive. They went back. We are not also heard from them. Then the next thing was to hear also them are talking about that there was a plan for election not to hold. And Charles, you have been here, I've been campaigning for almost 2-3 years.
In other words, that there was a plan by you.
Yes, that the election should not hold. So funny and ridiculous. And coming from a chief executive officer who swore to an oath to protect lives and property, I have serious problem with the way he emerged, because to me, I'm mostly in Imo, we never voted for him. But that is a discussion for another day. I had expected him that even in that controversial legitimacy issue, that he can do the right thing, which is have respect for human life. Then what did he do? The next thing, he had a prepared speech, which you saw on TV, as if he felt maybe I was going to die. He's going to tell Imo people that it was ESN and IPOP that killed me. And in the midst of that counter-argument and argument, people will forget about it. But unfortunately for him, I didn't die. And then he opened his mouth to say that he have security report, that I had meetings with some groups that the election will not hold. And I went ahead to campaign, and then they decided to kill me. So one thing is fact here. So of them, I knew that there was a plan to kill me. So what is your duty as chief security officer? And then you say, I deserve dates. So that was so... I don't know the right word to use in describing that particular comment.
Let's take this systematically.
Yes.
First of all, what is the state of play with a police investigation into this incident? Because the presumption has to be that the police, which is a federal police as opposed to a state police, has a responsibility to investigate any crime, particularly one that is a threat to life and where life has been taken.
And I will say this clearly, like I told you before, that the Deputy Commissioner of Police came the next day. And then they collected some of the explosive and bullets and so on and so forth, took pictures, and then left.
And you haven't heard from them since?
I have not heard from them.
Right.
That is of the January 14 attack.
Right.
But then for the December 23rd attack, where we were ambushed, we wrote petition to the Inspector General of Police and the National Security Advisor. And then we submitted audio record made by the SA to the governor, one Chinasa, notorious for carrying out physical attacks against opponents of the governor in Imo. And this evidence was given, which I also sent to you and every other person. And then the police did not investigate it. Then he attacked at his wanted with who they meant the same language, the same kind of people that ambushed us on December, were the same kind of people that brought the terrorist attack to our homes. And if the police have at least carried that first investigation and arrested Chinasa to make inquiries and do investigation, maybe we will not have gotten to this bloody one that happened to us. So I have serious concern about why the police first did not investigate the threat to kill me, did not also investigate the threat that was also carried out and I was ambushed, and also did not also come up to tell us what is the status of the investigation of the bloody terrorist attack that have been carried. So it makes me to feel like, is it that they have decided that let me be killed at all costs, that they cannot do their job, and that would be very, very painful and undermining of these institutions.
Yeah, that would be a travesty of justice, which under any circumstances would be absolutely unacceptable. But beyond sort of speculating and beyond sort of allegations which, to be totally fair, may not necessarily be justified, are you any clearer now about who carried out this attack on you, or is there still a lack of clarity or some confusion there? And I'm asking you to think of it legally rather than just people you may not get along with. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to want to kill you.
Well, I will not be doing a good service to myself if I don't speak truth at every time, because God has given me a second life. Here, when you listen to the audio message from the governor's SA, and then you listen to the first attack of December, when we were ambushed after Obioya and they opened fire. But luckily on that particular one, I was not inside the convoy. And then he was in a Helios vehicle with the same hooded men speaking fluent rivers and biases slangs that normal courtiers from that side used to speak. And I say specifically that this is the man that led the assault. So that is why I said categorically, it was state militia sponsored. And I'm waiting for anybody to give me a contrary investigative report to this evidence I have put. And let me give you another information. Maybe when the governor was speaking, he didn't know that we also do our investigation. He was alluding to ESM people operating from our area, blah, blah, blah. We have gone even into an investigation. Let me give you one information that today we decided to bring it, and also later you look at it because it's evidential. Here is a Highlander that was snatched in Owerri. Mark my words, snatched in Owerri. That belongs to the woman from Afuku. The husband is in coma now. The registration number is there. They took the car from Owerri, beat the man and the woman, and then this is the car that contained the explosive that was being thrown. Now the question now is, how did they take the car from Owerri, drive all the way from Owerri, passing all those areas they have, ESA, Nebubag, and so on, and get to Akokwa? That is the reason why they were asking for the direction, because they are not from our side. And now when they were going, because they were panicking, you can see that that car is inside a ditch. So they moved some of the explosive into the other vehicles and then set the car ablaze. We were able to pick the number plate, and we have even run a check. And then the woman in question, we have even contacted the woman. The husband is in hospital in Owerri. So there's one fact here. This came from Owerri direction, because this guy is evidence and the man is alive. I mentioned his name today. So when the governor was talking about those ESN thing, because in Imo today, if you are struggling with anything, anybody can kill anybody in Imo today, and they say, oh, it's unknown gunmen. There is a different aspect of this unknown gunmen issue with which they are using now to cover all sorts of crimes. And that's why I said politicizing the security challenges in Imo will not help anybody. And that is what also the man have shown in the last 3 years that he's an expert in doing. I say leave politics out of this. Because there is a group of militia that is working for you. There are people who are also agitating, and there are also different groups. So let us, and that's why I keep saying, Charles, I said, The first thing that I was begging the president, which one of the things some of them don't like me, I said, people are profiting from this security in Imo and South. They're making money from it. But they should look at the long-term implication of what they're doing. I said, President Muhammad Buhari, in the interest of kickstarting genuine reconciliation and addressing of some of these issues, that since there's judgment of court, not one, not two, that have ordered that you should release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, release Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on whatever way you want to do it, and then let's get to the negotiation table and address some of these injustices so that you can separate the agitators from the real criminals that are murdering people. But people don't like that. Whenever I go to that side, they feel so bad because people are making money from those issues. And I continue to say that that is the first step towards reducing tension, going back to the table and finding a way to separate all these criminalities and deal with them decisively. But it's obvious that some people want this of unknown government in Imo so that blood will continue to flow.
And you are, of course, running for membership of the House of Representatives under the PDP. What is the state of your campaign at the moment?
Well, we have been on this, like I told you, since 3 years. The only time we had an interruption was when there was the other attack and threat. Took us like 2-3 weeks, and then this one that has taken us like 18 days. But then highest in the next 10 days we'll be back. There is no amount of bomb that will be thrown in Akwa and Ida today that I will not go home to finish, if not for anything, for our fallen heroes who died defending this cause. So the campaign is on. We're having meetings tomorrow, next tomorrow, all the wars that are involved. That's why I told you I flagged off today. And when I say flagged off today, I have given directive to all our coordinators in the 347 polling booth to get to action. So we're moving. There is nothing that will stop us from getting to the ballot come February 2023.
But for somebody who has been through what you've been through, I mean, you seem extraordinarily bold and quite fervent in your focus on what you want to do, which is to continue running for election. So, I mean, you're not deterred by what has happened.
I didn't get deterred in fighting for the cause of justice and good governance when I used to spend 4 months, 6 months in DSS and police underground cells. And now I cannot. I have seen a lot. I have had near-death experience fighting for things I believe is good for society. And how else can I pay back those who lost their life if I don't have an opportunity to test the will of our people in choosing me so that I can have an opportunity to advocate those frontiers of justice and good governance rooted in restructuring so that there can be an enabling environment for everybody to live. Part of the things, I can as well shy away when I discovered the biggest electoral fraud, which we call the Omma Magic, which was the compromise of the voter registry. I could have walked away. But I felt if we all keep walking away, how will society get better? That if a group of people can sit down and put over 3-4 million fake names from foreign lands into the register, even when they know those names cannot be accredited, then there's danger, because the danger is a chance. And I'll keep saying this and I will say it here. And I want security agencies to prove me right. Why have you not arrested one single person that was involved in the compromise of the voter register? Even when INEC have identified over 25 staffs that was involved and deleted over 2.7 million fake registration. Just let me tell you the danger Nigerians are overlooking, which may come to haunt us. If somebody can put fake name in a register, knowing that we are using beavers, the question you ask yourself, is that person stupid? How does he intend to accredit those names? Could it be the rumor we have and the information that they have found a way to bypass accreditation and preload it? That is why security agencies owe Nigerians a duty, not chasing Ikenga, or not people looking for a way to kill me. Find a way to arrest the people involved in Omma Magic. Then find out from them how they plan to accredit these German names they put in the register, so that we don't go. I believe Professor Mahmoud Yakub that the beavers is foolproof and so on and so forth. But are we going to wait for February election morning to discover that possibly they have found a way to internally do this? If they can find a way to upload it, then we should worry about accreditation. And this is why they want to silence me. Because I keep saying that if you allow this element who shy away from competitive election, that they may throw this country into civil unrest. And I look at the violence, the bloodletting, the confusion that is engulfing Nigeria day by day as we get closer to election. And that is why I believe the president, as he has promised at the United Nations, that he wants to leave behind the legacy of free and fair election. We believe him. Now it's time to get your security chiefs, who has also said the same thing, to rein all these militias in different states in immediately and get to the root of things that are threatening the possibility of conducting a free and fair election, so that we don't slide to civil unrest.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And just to expand a bit on what you're saying there, what do you see as the solution to what appears to be this growing problem of insecurity in Imo State in particular and the Southeast in general?
Now, I have said it before. Crime is crime. The Inspector General of Police, the DG DSS, the NSA, give standing instruction and follow it. Because for every crime you see that keeps repeating itself, somebody in security agencies are aware of it. But the governor keeps anything that happens, he says it's his political opponent. The other time he said he was political opponent to Rochas. When he reconciled with Rochas, he said, is he here or her? So you can see he keeps shifting. Now he says it's me. So let's stop this nonsensical politicization of security issues and rein in this militia. Like I said before, de-escalate tension. One of the issues is to obey the judgment of court, release the man, go to the table and address grievances of those people, and so you can separate the criminals from these people and then be able to deal with those particular issues. Then the second issue is that stop allowing governors control police, DSS like it's a private army. For goodness sake, when I was attacked before, police was within us one area. How do we debase the society to get to that level of security agencies that's one ought to protect and defend, being seen with people who are funny? So that's why I say the IG has a lot to do in this particular matter. The sound is coming from different states. It's coming from Ebony, it's coming from Imo, it's coming from all over the Southeast. If the commissioners of police does not want to rein in these people and is interested in pursuing enemies of the God, you remove them. I am telling you that why all this sound of blood is rolling all over Nigeria is because they have not stamped their feet to call these governors to order. Is that because of political or party affiliations or so on and so forth? You allow governors to manipulate this security agent. The consequences is all this. When policemen start dining with criminals, tomorrow that criminal will undermine you. So you think you are doing it to Ikenga or your political opponents? You are raising things that you cannot control in future. So these are problems. And I say the decisive action have not been carried out on the people involved. These things are being politicized. For example, tell me why on December we were attacked. You are not investigated. I produced video evidence of the man who even made the face. You are not investigated. We came under terrorist attack. You have not brought out any investigation. How do you think this will end when you are not doing your job? Is it me that will do the job?
So given what you have told us, and I can see the passion from you, because obviously you've had an absolutely horrendous experience that nobody deserves to have. But given what you have just said, and given your determination to carry on with your campaign all the way to the election, how do you think this election is going to go? In your area, for example, do you expect it to be a bloody affair?
Like I said before, it is Uzodinma that is overheating the polity in Imo. And I say without fear or favor, everybody has had that. He is the one that is causing all this problem. Starting with the security arrangement he has in the state. You know, people are being harassed. People are being killed. Now you pack corpses, you keep keeping them in Federal Medical Center with no investigation. We don't even know who is killing these people. Why are they killing them? Go to Imo today. If a Sienna car stops now, people will close market and run into the bush. They cannot differentiate between the one that is genuine, the unknown government that is alleged to be with government, or the one that is in struggle, or the one that is a faction. So there is so much commotion in Imo today. And I say people think it's about politics. People are not living there. I've been living there campaigning. I know what our people is feeling. And I want government to look into this. Leave party lines. After party comes, life. After all, in Nigeria today, I don't even see party, because those ones that are jumping up in APC like him were in PDP yesterday. So leave all this party thing and look at securing the country. Once you continue to undermine the capacity of our security agencies, continue to allow criminals to overrun them, the consequences is what you see now. Criminals have audacity of attacking security agencies, killing people left, right, and center. People are resorting to self-help. How are we going to get to 2023 successfully with all these things that is happening? So that we don't crumble the country. These are the kind of sand that was coming after 1983, 1964, thereabout, that led those general elections into crisis. We don't want democracy to collapse. We want government to take action to rein in. We are hearing the sound from everywhere. Everybody is feeling it. It's happening in different parts of the country. We are seeing it. And I want the president to call the service chief as they have promised. Then the service chief, I know they will not be there in the states. But you have directors there. You have commissioners of police. They are in bed with the governors. And that is the only reason undermining this security problem. If you want to run an election, come and compete. If you win, we take. If we win, you allow us to take. Election is competition. Let the best emerge. Why are you panicking? And you try to stifle people to see it from your own view. Not everybody will see it from your own view, because it's my right to campaign, and I don't care how you feel about it, because it is my right. It is for government to provide the enabling environment for everybody. How did they drive all the way from Owerri, throwing bombs left, right, and center, operated, went back to wherever they are coming from, and nobody has found them? And do you want people to believe that you are ready to have an election that is free and fair?
So what is your message now to the people who you believe carried out this attack, and to the people of Imo State and Nigeria in general?
First of all, it was in the book of Deuteronomy, in chapter 27, verse 25, that woe and curse unto a man who takes the life of an innocent person. The pain and the woe and the curse will definitely visit them. That one, I do not have any cause of worry about that, because there's still an almighty God. So even if the security agencies does not want to do their work, that God Almighty will give them the judgment they deserve. And what I'm asking Nigeria is to come together. You can see that they want us to have, feeling of fear that will make people not to turn out, especially from the eastern part of the country. In the northwest, the north central, this sand is coming from every angle. Most important thing we need to do is, like I always say, come out very early in this one. You see, people are on the fuel line, right? You sleep there overnight because you're looking for fuel. But the solution to you having that fuel, so that you stop sleeping near Transcorp gates here, is to go in just one day, go very early, accredit, vote, stay behind. It's your right. If over 200-300 people voting in a plane stays behind, tell me how these rascals will come and carry. Even if they carry one, will they carry the remaining one? So let us stop feeling like it does not concern us, but you go and still be sleeping at the fuel station looking for fuel. Let's come out, because the time they want to raid, like the one that happened in Guapal, is between 11 to 2. Because they need to wait for accreditation to go midway. Because if they come around 9-10, much has not been accredited. If they come later around 4-5 p.m., the result is already transmitted. So between that 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, guide your plane it. Because if they want, they read around that time so that they can transmit fake result. And also, we're also begging INEC on behalf of Nigeria. We have also had their compiling names. I will release that one soon. People that will work as ad hoc staff. Please, I'm begging INEC. Check whatever the recs are doing in different states, so that we don't have ad hoc staffs that are recruited members of a particular political party. Same with the RACTEC that will do the transmission, so that people does not end up transmitting results from the polling unit and it gets to the RACTEC and something happens to it. You must be sure of the people you are posting. We are happy when we had the news that they're no longer going to use some of the lecturers, they will use that next staff, meaning that you can easily hold him responsible if they do the wrong thing. But anything that Professor Mahmoud can do further with what he has already done to secure the process. I know that almost 60% of this thing working rests with security agencies. Whether they will raid play it, is security agencies that are supposed to raid them. Whether they want to advocate annex staff and change the figure, is security agencies. Whether they want to undermine the accreditation inside the BVAS, is security agencies. If they can investigate what I have revealed of how people compromise the voter registration, which INEC Professor Mahmoud was courageous enough to delete. But find a way to find the ultimate goal of how that accredited, that fake registration will be used for accreditation. But Charles, I'm saying this, DSS is listening to me, police, they're not doing anything. Is it that they're part of it? And tomorrow you want to arrest Ikenga or check it. See all these things, we should focus on the right thing so we can get to the root of this problem. This is the only thing why you kill them, see them throwing all this bomb around me.
I can see the strong elements of frustration in what you're saying. And I think a lot of Nigerians can feel your frustration and can empathize with it. I just wonder, I know you touched on this earlier, we've got about 2 minutes or so left, how this experience and all the experiences you've had have affected you as a person. Has it made you a more tenacious, determined fighter, or has it sapped your political will to some extent and given you reason to doubt yourself?
No. When I left the seminary school, my mother was murdered because the state refused to act. An armed different warring group, and my mother was driving, going to our maternal place, then she was executed. I have a burning desire to find out why people have an oath of allegiance to protect lives and property, and they don't come so hard on criminals who keep taking people's life. And here you have my lovely uncle have also been gruesomely murdered, and other people that have also been killed, Chief Ejika and so on and so forth. And then I have a near-death experience. What does this tell me? That there is a need for people like me to come into the driving seat, to find out what is the problem, to use this my energy, to find a way to rejig the system so that there can be responsive and effective governance and representation that will help to make life better for our people. So I can tell you here now that if my strength and my courage was at 60% at the beginning, now I'm running at 99%. I am determined more than ever before. And that's why I'm going home immediately to continue what we're doing. We'll find a way to defend ourselves within the ambit of the law. But we want to see the sanctity of our people's power and ballot exercise. Whatever our people decide, I don't even have a problem with that. But I want this to be free and fair. And there's one thing I hate in life. For somebody, if you like be a president or governor, to sit and think you can decide the fate of me that God created independently, I don't take that. If you like have 28 bombs you are throwing. But the point remains that I will not bow to that kind of nonsense. And that's why I said that this experience, so painful, is devastating. I'm not talking about the economic loss. I'm talking about the lives that have been lost. But Charles, I am determined to contribute my own quota. I'm determined to match these things I'm saying with actions that are within the ambit of the law so that I can have an opportunity to contribute in making things better.
I want to thank you very much indeed for coming in, and I want to commend you for your strength of character. Thank you very much indeed. And Ikenga Ugochinyere is a spokesperson of the Coalition of United Political Parties, or CUPP, and a PDP candidate in the 2023 election for a seat in the House of Representatives. Thank you ever so much.